Hey folks, it's Pastor Jordan here bringing you this week's sermon preview. I apologize, I'm a couple of days late. It's been a wild week, but we are excited for worship that's coming up on this coming Sunday. So just a couple quick notes, and then we'll share a little bit about what the sermon's going to be looking at. We looked at the weather. Tomorrow doesn't look great. There's going to be some spotty showers all night and into the morning tomorrow. So the 10 o'clock hour on the hourly forecast looked okay, but we don't want to take a chance because it's also said it was going to rain at 9 and 11. So we don't know if we can really squeeze it in. So we'll be worshiping indoors tomorrow. And I just invite you to head over to our website, WGRC.org. You can find our worship plan there. Pretty much there are no restrictions. We're sort of just following the rules. It says unvaccinated people are responsible for their own mask wearing. So there's that. We have decided that it's up to you if you would like your children to wear a mask or not. Knowing that children under 12, of course, are not vaccinated yet. So that's up to you as your families. And we will have a section in the back of the church that will be for people who will prefer socially distanced seating for whatever reason. And that will be the only place in the church where the mask will be a requirement. No one will be asked to sit there. That's just people's choice. So that'll be the back couple pews on each side. So just be aware about that when you come tomorrow, but just wanted to get you up to speed on those things. You can see the full plan on our website, westgrc.org. It's posted right there. And service is at 10 a.m. and we look forward to joining for worship. And that'll be a blessed time to be together. That's all I wanted to share with you about that. I did want to let you know that coming up on August 8th, this is a little ways out in the future, but coming up on August 8th, we're having a community meal following worship. So hopefully we'll have good weather that day and we can have worship here around the gazebo. And then we'll have a good old-fashioned cookout right here. You don't need to bring any food, but just come and maybe even invite somebody to come with you. Bring them to worship and let them know that they can stay for the meal, or let a neighbor here in town that you know, invite them to come over for worship and a cookout afterwards. Lunch is free for all who want to come. So we'll be doing that on August 8th. So I just wanted to let you know about that as well. Now, for this Sunday's service, we will be taking another quick jump into the book of Ephesians before I'm away, and so we're gonna look at the second chapter this week, and we're gonna hear this story about reconciliation. Now, so often in the story of Scripture, we look at reconciliation between God and humankind. That the movement of Christ in the world, what he came to accomplish was to complete this story of reconciliation that God was working out throughout human history. That Jesus Christ was to be the one that would sort of finalize that process, and in his descending into death and his rising again into heaven, that would solidify our reconciliation with God. It would give us our full connection, our full relationship, our full righteousness through him, connecting us to God. However, in this scripture today, we hear how there's more to that story, actually. We hear how Christ also brings us here to reconcile us to one another. And so we'll think about that for a little bit. And I'll ask you to think about some of those difficult situations in your life. I know you have them because it's a human thing. I have them. It's a human thing. We all have those enemies. We all have that nemesis. We all have those either people or groups or competing companies or whatever it might be that we just don't get along with, or we have some sort of an injured relationship, and we need reconciliation, don't we? We as human beings often find that hard to come by in those situations. And so we'll talk about that, and we'll see these words that come from the second chapter of Ephesians about how Christ brings peace between disparate groups. We'll talk about what that might look like, not only for the people who were receiving it at the time, but for us receiving it now. What does that look like? But even more so, it continues. And we'll hear as Jesus Christ, through the words of Paul, is talked about as one who is building us into a holy temple for the Lord. Not only are we reconciled, but then in some way, and this is the mysterious nature of our faith, but in some way we are then not only reconciled, but constructed together into one thing that glorifies the Lord. And so we'll explore that a little bit this week. What are those enemies, those nemeses that we each have in our lives? What are those those opposing forces that we feel as though we're up against? And then also, how does Jesus Christ not only reconcile those differences, but then to build us up into something greater? There's a lot of hope in this story. And so that's what we'll be looking at tomorrow morning. I'm sorry that the sermon preview is out a couple of days late, but here it is, and we'll be gathering for worship in the morning, and I look forward to being here with you at church tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Come on over. We'll be worshiping in the sanctuary tomorrow. May the Lord be with you. God bless.